All right, hello and welcome to the Foundations of Business Unit 3 Spreadsheets presentation lecture. Our spreadsheets portion of the unit will cover lessons 93 through 98, and we'll give you some practice in creating and formatting a number of different types of spreadsheets. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's first talk about what it means to have spreadsheet essentials. So the essentials for spreadsheets is you have to have a spreadsheet software. And so in this case, we're going to be using Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel, which is their spreadsheet program. It is used in business, education, and government. It allows you to use formulas and perform calculations. It is the present information graphically with charts, so we can present it so that it shows with some type of a visual associated with it. And it also will allow us to recalculate calculations automatically. Now, some terminology. Let's talk about, first of all, when we are working in a particular worksheet. So a worksheet is one spreadsheet computer file, whereas a workbook can contain multiple worksheets. For the most part, all of our examples that we're going to be doing in class is going to be a single worksheet. All right, let's take a look at the different areas of the window when we open up Microsoft Excel. So as you can see there on the very top, we have a number of different tabs. Currently, based off of this example, we are looking at the Home tab. Then there's also the title bar. So the title bar you can see just above the tabs. Right now it indicates that we are working in Book 1 in Microsoft Excel. Then there's the ribbon. So the ribbon is different formatting options we can select based off of our spreadsheet. So the ribbon is going to be all of these different icons that kind of fit underneath the tabs. Then we have the name box. The name box is used to indicate where we are navigating through on the worksheet itself. So right now you can see we are in cell A1 as indicated by the highlighted cell. Then there's the formula bar. In the event that we want to use and calculate different calculations using formulas, we would enter them up here in our formula bar. This is also the area where we can use different functions for statistical analysis. Again, the highlighted area indicates in the worksheet itself which cell is active, which means if we were to type any type of text or numeric values, they would be represented in the active cell. Now the workbook is broken up into columns, which are indicated by letter designations, A through F and so on, and then rows, which are numbered references, 1 through 10 and so on. On the bottom, you will see the worksheet tab. So right now we are in worksheet 1, but there's also sheet 2, sheet 3, and we can add additional sheets if we need to our workbook. On the bottom, we have different view buttons, which is going to give us a different look at the spreadsheet based off of the information that we're trying to view. So those can come in handy in certain instances as well. And then there's the scroll bars. So this workbook technically is going to go on forever. So you can scroll forever horizontally and you can scroll forever vertically to view your data and the information that you have entered into your spreadsheet. And then sometimes you'll see when you put information into a spreadsheet that maybe it's a little bit small. So you can utilize your zoom controls to make things bigger and easier to read. All right, so based off of everything we talked about, these are all of the different spreadsheet essentials when it comes to the window of Microsoft Excel when we are building a spreadsheet. All right, so when it comes to moving around in a worksheet, we have a couple different options. We can move around by using the mouse, so we can move and left click, but we can also use our arrows, which we can go left, right, up, or down. Now what you'll notice too is when you start entering data into your spreadsheet, anything that is considered to be text will be labeled or will be aligned to the left, whereas anything that is considered a numeric value will be aligned to the right. Now within the spreadsheet itself, the workbook, you can also make it so that the different cells have grid lines. Sometimes this can be helpful when it's drawing the reader's attention to the different data or any of the information that's presented in the worksheet. You can choose to either view the headings or not view the headings, view the grid lines or not view the grid lines, and those are indicated by check boxes in our ribbon. Now what you can also do is you can go into a cell and you can indicate to insert rows or columns. So if we need to add a column, we can insert one and indicate whether or not we want it to go to the right or to the left. And we can do the same thing with rows, which will allow us to insert a row above or below. Now, when we are doing different spreadsheet calculations, depending upon the type of spreadsheet that we are doing, might require different types of formatting for the numeric values that we're putting in there. So this is a list of the different values or the different formats of the number of values that we can put into a cell. Notice that there's general, there's number, there's currency, there's accounting, all below. Now, it really doesn't matter in most cases, it doesn't matter what your number format is, as long as it's consistent throughout the entire spreadsheet. So whichever one you decide to select, say for example accounting, that should be the numeric format that you would use for all of the numeric cells in the worksheet. All right, so then there's also the formatting of the cell content. So this is a format cells window with a number of different tabs, where we can again change the number format, we can change the alignment within the cell, we can change the font, we can change the border, we can also change the color, as well as not just the text color but also the color of the fill of the cell. And we can also include patterns and even protection. Protection is used when we create a spreadsheet and we want to share it with others, but there are certain cells that we do not want the viewers to be able to edit. Now, formulas. When it comes to formulas, obviously standard mathematical principles are going to apply. So the order of operations, any type of calculation that we put is going to do multiplication and division first, followed by addition and subtraction, unless we indicate differently with parentheses. We can also use functions. Now, functions are great to do different statistical analysis. There are a number of pre-functions already included in Excel, and we can access them by keyword searching in the formula bar. But in order to enter any type of a formula or calculation or function, we have to tell Excel that we wish to do so. So we start by entering an equal sign in the cell that we want to do the calculation. We would then indicate the function name. So in this example, we have average. So we want in cell A6, Excel to average cells 1 through 5. So we do that by indicating equals average and then put the cell range A1 through A5 in parentheses. We would hit enter and then Excel would do that calculation for us. All right, some commonly used functions which we will be using throughout our practice problems here are sum, average, count, minimum, maximum, and days S360. That one we probably will not use, but if we do, it's a number counter which helps us understand the number of days that would be in a year, so that if we have to do a calculation broken down by days, we can easily convert it. So sometimes rather than just putting in the calculation itself, using one of the functions is a little easier. Now, charts, ways to visually represent data. So we can create charts for just about any data. We can either embed it into our specific sheet that we are working on, or we can designate it's our own sheet. So for example, this would be a bar chart. As you can see here, the legend indicates red is males, blue is females. We're looking at the different classes, freshman through senior, and the number value, which could represent anything. Maybe this is the number of days present versus number of days absent. I don't know. I'm just making it up. But we can represent a number of different pieces of data in chart format. Versus a column chart. With the column chart, we have the columns moving vertical. A bar chart, the columns or the bars move horizontal. So horizontal versus vertical. Column for vertical, bar for horizontal. Then there's also the pie chart. Pie chart, which is also a good representation, where it indicates different pieces of the pie, which can be indicated by different colors. Now, additionally, there are also line, area, scatter plots, and donut charts. Depending upon the different examples for the class problems you're going to be working on, you're going to get a chance to practice a number of different chart types. And the charts can always be changed after they're inserted. So this is an example of an area chart, this is an example of a donut chart, and this is an example of a line chart. Now we can also change our chart layouts, so we can go in and we can format our charts, and there's a number of different layouts with backgrounds, 3D, different representations of the data in terms of how they're represented in the columns or the bars. And you'll get a chance to play with that as well with some of the problems that you're going to do. Now, when it comes to formatting our charts, we can change layout and styles. So we can add things like titles, data labels, grid lines, legend, and even chart styles. And as you can see over here, we definitely have a title. We have a legend indicating what the bars represent. We have an x-axis label, a y-axis label, and also what those indicate. So we have the salespersons from either Peru. Peru, Neft, and Smith are our 3 salespersons. This is the amount of sales that they would have generated, and then the returns that came along with those. And that concludes the presentation lecture on different ways of formatting and constructing spreadsheets. We will be taking the next number of class periods to practice this and build these spreadsheets. And we'll practice it next time we get to class, and I will see you next time we meet.